All right, we're back here, week 5. It's our final match of the night for the feature matches, and we've got an interesting one here with a companion. So this will be a very fun match here. We got Jeremy on his last loss here, so ten losses, looking to continue to fight here. He's up against Christopher G, a Oompa Loompa. So what's going on with Christopher over there?
Christopher is reliving his mom glory days with 3 lands. Coincidentally, each of a different color: plains, island, and a swamp, just natural. The alabaster that can dig for a plains. You're very familiar with the Halo Forager and the Hoarding Broodlord. He did just draw the what is this? The bloated processor Phyrexian.
Okay, yeah, that's a good rare. Yeah, so we're looking at some mom heavy decks here. Jeremy as well. He has he's missing some lands here, but he's got some things to do in the meantime. He's got a cruel somnophage, a prophetic prism, merciless repurposing. He's got Kami of Whispered Hopes, which is that 3 mana 1/1 mana dork. Bramble Familiar, which he's about to cast here, thanks to the Scarecrow guide. He's got Up the Beanstalk as well. I believe he has 3 Up the Beanstalks, which has sort of been the foundation of what his deck's been trying to do. You know, if you say if you say he has triple Up the Beanstalk, you kind of know what the deck is immediately.
Yeah.
No
At
further
least you
information.
hope they're not just using it to filter.
Yeah, so your worst nightmare here. Some mom heavy decks clashing, but
Oh my gosh.
neither of these players are that high in the standing. So they're both at I think 12 wins. So they're
I
both
mean,
looking to make a push here.
Chris has definitely got the card to make a push. He did just draw Invasion this of New Phyrexia, the Teferi on the backside, make X two two.
Okay, that's a fun one.
Ah,
Yep.
yeah.
So Jeremy's all over the color board here. He's drawn a Chrome Host Seed Shark, which he can cast, but he might just play up the Beanstalk to try and hit his land. And now he might have to cycle this Alabaster Host Intercessor to guarantee a land. Otherwise, just cast his Prophetic Prism to try and keep digging.
Does he have any heaters in his hand? Like anything big?
He has a Chrome Host Seed Shark. It's pretty good.
That's
Okay, he's
pretty
drawn a
good.
forest here. He has an Alabaster Host Intercessor. He has Merciless Repurposing, which is that 6 mana exile a creature. So kind of a bit of a clean answer to the bloated processor if needed. And Cruel Somnophage, which is that adventure creature that ends up being as big as the number of creature cards in graveyards.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Chris just refuses to stop drawing good cards. Granted, I'm not sure how good it is on turn 5, but he did just draw into the Sleep Cursed Fairy.
Okay, I mean it's a fine threat. I mean it sort of gets bricked by a Chromos Seed Shark here, but um, you know,
Which is interesting, though. If Chris can draw his 6 land next turn, he has a multitude of ways to deal with the Seed Shark. He still has Halo Forger in hand, so he can rebuy back, feed the Cauldron, or he can just Alabaster host it for now. Um, that's looking like the only options, but it looks like he just might cast the Invasion right now.
interesting. Okay, I
I
mean
think I agree with
it's
you, though.
pretty
I
good
like getting
board.
on
It's
board.
pretty good board presence here because he can deal with like one threat. So like because like right now these tutus attack just fine into Jeremy's board, and whatever if Jeremy just plays one sizable thing, um, sounds like he can deal with it. So he's just going to use his Alabaster Host here, assumedly going to get rid of a token just to, yeah. So not like the most incredible play, but very, I'm sure he's happy with it.
It's
Three,
honestly
four total
probably the better
tokens.
play for this turn because, as you saw, Chris just drew the 6 land for turn, but he's just gonna get out of Broodlord here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
interesting. He has a Hadetsu, Sunfall. There's some pretty powerful cards that are still in his deck, so we'll see what he wants to get.
so what I loved to use to go get with that is like a protection spell, and then you had the like I remember there was like a white uh, angelic intervention or whatever that gave the creature hexproof and whatever till end of
What
turn.
was it? The 2 mana one?
Yeah, so like because it gives your non-creature spells convoke. So I remember just
If he
going to get a
wanted to,
protection spell with that, or a recursion spell to get it back. Like you go get like a unsealed the necropolis or whatever.
he
Let's
could
see.
grab Cyber Cryptomancer if he wanted to protect it.
That'll do it too, but he wouldn't be able to cast it now.
He will, because when something's exiled with Broodlord, it has Convoke,
Oh, anything has convoke, right?
as long as it's
Okay.
exiled with the Broodlord.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was non-creature for some reason, but
It's interesting because it allows you to like cast the card that you get exiled,
is is,
so
is
you can
that
like kind of
is
cheat it
that what he
out.
ended up? Is that what he ended up getting?
Yeah, he chose the
Yeah.
Cryptomancer.
No, that was like a classic thing to go get a protection spell or a recursion with that, and just basically hold that. Yeah, that was a card. I actually just opened that with my most recent loss, the Hoarding Broodlord. So
Yeah, I mean, I like the choice 100%. Like Sunfall's great, but Chris is definitely in a very commanding position right here. Does Jeremy have anything in hand right now?
I
Looks
mean
like he's mousing over cards.
he's got a repurposing, merciless repurposing, but that's not going to do what he wants it to do. He could play the Seed Shark, but again, like this 7/6 is just
Yeah,
imminently very very threatening.
I would almost think like he just has to take a chance and try and repurpose it, right? Look, I see him now looking like, okay, if he flips it, is it that big of a deal?
I mean, he could play the Seed Shark. He could use the Somnophage, like the spell half of it. He could even get Yorion in his hand. Maybe he could play the Seed Shark and then use the repurposing on the Broodlord next turn. Like it'll still get blown out, but he'll at least get a 6/6 incubator. Like if
It
he
won't work
just
the way you think it will. I
well,
believe the minute that Chrome Shark comes down, it's Diner removal.
that is also very very possible. So it's all options that I'm sure Jeremy is not thrilled with any of them.
So it looks like we've gone for the Seed Shark play here. So yep, brings over the companion. Now, I always forget this. Can you do that at instant speed, or is it only sorcery now?
The companion,
Yeah.
that's got it's only sorcery, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, they really made it hard on us for limited. Like, here's Halo Forger. I assume that's gonna knock off the Seed Shark here.
Yeah, right in the cauldron.
Halo Forger, and I said this every time we saw it during Mom League, because we saw a lot of them in the feature matches, because a lot of the successful decks were playing that, black, blue, Sultai, Esper, whatever decks, Grixis. Um, Halo Forger plays like a rare. It just plays like a rare, period.
Yeah. It's just so good. So good.
Like there was a card back in Ixalan, Dire Fleet Daredevil, I believe, was a two
Yeah,
mana
buyback,
two
what?
one, and you could exile a spell from an opponent's graveyard and cast it until end of turn using mana of any color. And this is like quite a bit better, and it's an uncommon.
I forget, does Dire Fleet, can it be any CMC, or was it only CMC 2 or less?
Well, it was a two mana two one first strike. You exiled instant or sorcery from opponent's graveyard, and until end of turn you can cast it, and you could spend mana
Okay.
as if it was any color. So um,
I think that was
basically,
like
you
one
could
of the
do
greatest
anything.
cards to come out of that set.
I even today played a Halo Forager and did not choose to get anything out of the graveyard, even though I had the mana for it. I had to hold up an instant speed removal, but so I even sometimes just play it as a 3 mana 3/1 flyer, and it hits hard, and it's also a fairy for anybody that cares about that in this set. So looks like
I think,
Yorion's gonna come down. He's gonna try and draw some cards here at the very least.
okay, try and come back in.
So Yorion draws a card. It's gonna blink two card draw cards, and he's gonna try and
Oh,
exile the Brood Lord. That's not gonna work. And then maybe next turn he can hit it with the repurposing. I mean, he's still at 20 here. Is Jeremy? So
here's my question. Does Chris just let the Broodlord get exiled?
hmm. I mean, if he has a removal for the alabaster, he could just allow it to get exiled and then remove the intercessor and tutor again.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because he has his own Alabaster in hand.
Okay.
So I'm curious if he just values trying to get, to
Also,
Fairy
can
flipped
we
over,
can
get
we
rid
talk
of
about all the
Yorion.
beautiful things that are happening here?
Quite the amount of triggers, huh?
Drawing cards is good. I think in this kind of matchup, a Yorion just drawing all these cards is just, this is actually keeping up with what Christopher's doing on the other side, which is playing his Broodlord, tutoring for protection, and then using Halo Forger to kill stuff. Like this is keeping up with that. There's not much that can keep up with that, but see now the Intercessor's going to come down, hit the Intercessor.
Rebuy something else with the Broodlord. So I didn't even see this. He has the black and white invasion that brings something back, and then when it's flipped, it does that once per turn, right?
Is it?
On upkeep or something.
It,
Tovada.
it makes a token.
Yes, okay, that's what it
It
does.
makes a
So
lifelink flying token, I believe.
I'm curious what he goes for here. I think he's looking at the Protocol Knight potentially, or if he wants to get something more value oriented.
Welcome to Mom League. I mean, Wilds of Eldraine Week 5.
I mean, I didn't even notice it because it's normal art, but he also has options to a Grimgrin. But he's going to
Okay.
decide just to get the stockpiling Celebrant here.
Oh no.
I wonder if he's going to bounce Phyrexia. Like,
We'll see.
what other target would you go for?
There's lots of good ones. Halo Forager, Dragon. I don't know. Take your pick.
His game is quickly becoming quite the banger.
Yeah, I mean, this is good fun here. It looks like he's bouncing the invasion. He wants more tutus. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to win here. Go wide.
I'm kind of shocked that he didn't kind of go to flip it first just to get value. Or maybe Celebrant can it not
So
bounce
that
planeswalkers?
was quite the turn.
Yeah.
Which one? Celebrant? I believe it's any non-land permanent. It can
Oh,
return any
interesting.
non-land permanent to your hand, other than itself. So Jeremy's, I mean, it looked like he was going to be keeping up, but after that turn, it's looking less so. He does have
And he
removals in
still
hand.
has the Cryptomancer.
Yeah, he has removals in hand, but I mean, he can only really deploy them one at a time. He's got Feed the Cauldron, Taken by Nightmares, Merciless Repurposing, and two lands, one of them being the dual land that he just revealed. But this dragon's going to start hitting. It's going to start hitting very hard.
Yeah, and he did leave a Hidetsu on top of the deck also. I mean, like, there's just so many options I'm looking at. Hidetsu, Invasion of Algrotha, still has Invasion of New Phyrexia,
Yeah, okay.
Sleight of Hand to go digging for more. He still has the protection in the Exile Zone that can be cheated out. Like, there's just a lot going on
I
here.
think he's going for the repurposing here just to maximize mana, and I mean, at least he gets to draw a card. I mean, he draws a card before his spell gets countered in the saddest way for him. Jeremy's just like he's trying. He's doing value plays. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing, but nothing is working. Look like he's drawn lots of extra cards. He's gotten tons of value, and Christopher's just showing him what's what here.
Yeah. So what's the play here, Chris? You have so many different lines you could go for.
I mean, just going wide seems like it's going to be good here.
Yeah.
I don't know how big he wants to make his invasion, but let's see.
Looks like he might go for the Invasion of Algrotha here. Just to get rid of the Somnophage. Thinking about it.
I mean, it's a kind of a low value play, but I mean, it's fine. He could flip it right away if he wants, or at least try to. I mean, he's just gonna knock. I mean, Jeremy has one more creature in hand, so he doesn't look like he cares too much about that invasion, perhaps.
No, he's just going straight face damage.
I mean, the backside of it is what? It's a 3/3 flyer. It's like,
Yeah, I think
oh,
it drains or something if your opponent has like what, two or no, that's the other one. That's the discard
it
one.
gets a counter when your opponent's creatures die.
Okay.
But he's just going
Nothing
to go
like
for an attack
crazy.
all, and he's going to deal quite a lot of damage. So, well, not quite. An attack all did not attack with the intercessor. but everything else came in for beating here. And Jeremy's gonna need something real good here, so he can fire off a couple removals, but is it gonna be enough?
Uh, he was trying to figure out if he should play as a Sleep Cursed Fae or fire off the Slight. So he fires off the Slight, finds an island, and plays the Fae anyway. It all works out.
Sure. Sure. All right. So
Does
upkeep.
Jeremy happen to have a Sunfall himself?
Not. I mean, definitely not in his hand. I can tell you that much. Looks like
Yeah,
he's
I'm not even
gonna.
sure Sunfall gets him out of this.
I
You
think
make one big old
he's.
dude,
I
right?
mean, on upkeep, he's thinking of doing Taken by Nightmares here to scry, perhaps. Yeah. Let's get that guy out of here. He says that dragon has done more than enough. He sees a land and a scream puff. That's certainly not close to good enough here. Well, he's at 5. He already has a 5 drop in hand that he could play, so. But, even if he survives the next turn or two.
You're facing down 6 more
Yeah,
potential. Like the onslaught is just relentless over here.
yeah. Jeremy's fighting for his life here and trying to make it another day here in Wilds of Eldraine League. And he certainly come with the spice here with his Yori on deck. We like it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, play a 5/4, draw a card. I mean, this is all like everything he's doing. Seems good. He's making the value plays, but the value plays on the other side are just a bit sweeter.
Another island for turn. So as it stands right now, if he were to swing all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blocks 3,
I
3,
mean, he could pay
3.
mana to untap his 3/3 flyer, but I don't know if he wants to do that.
Yeah. I believe Jeremy would live by 1 though.
Yeah, he's not dead this turn, but ooh, that's a nice one. He
Here
has
comes a Hidetsu. Gets an invasion of.
something.
It's the black white one.
Yeah, Tolvada, I believe.
No, the 2-drop one.
Oh, the it's Invasion of New Capenna.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's you sack a creature or an artifact and you exile a non-land
Yes.
permanent.
It's like he heard me. He starts waving it in the air so I can read it.
You exile artifact or creature, yeah.
So interestingly enough, I was going to say, if he gets rid of Hidetsu, when Hidetsu dies, right, doesn't it deal damage based off the top damage of the deck or the top card of the deck?
Sure does.
But this will also get about the same effect.
I believe people were trying to combo that in Constructed with it was a 10 mana spell from Neo where it dealt 10 damage to the opponent. So if you flip it from Hidetsugu, it just deals 20. But I'm not sure he can survive the next turn cycle here.
Yeah.
Right, so
Miss lethal, but it's fine. He'll probably still have it this turn anyway.
So he's drawn Invasion of Ixalan, which I believe it's the one where you can look at the top something and get a creature, and then on the backside it's a 4/3 that gains indestructible. Traumatic Revelation, he can look at opponent's hand before he dies, I suppose.
Take out the invasion.
I mean, free info. I mean, if you're about to die, there's no reason not to cast it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was me today in a match. Like, I was about to lose a game today. I just cast my Nizumi Informant. Let's see an extra card. Ah, it's a battle. You could take a battle. There you go. I did not think that in this league I would see Traumatic Revelation take a battle from an opponent's hand, but I'm not upset. I don't hate it.
Anything is possible. Does this life change anything?
Doesn't look like it. There's still like
I
too
do not
many
believe so.
creatures that are large enough here. Like Chris has nothing going on with his mana, so we can just untap his fairy. Yeah, so Jeremy's got to feed the cauldron here. Unfortunately, he cannot cast it on his main phase because it would tap his Kami. so he can't get that food, but he can kill something in combat. Just won't get the food.
So does that help him live then? Because he can technically block 4 damage. He can have the 5/4 block one of the flyers.
Yeah, the fairy
More
can
than
untap
likely,
itself
that's
if
true.
he chooses. Eyes of Gitaxias, okay.
Yeah.
That was a staple card from Marching Machine for sure.
Oh, it's such good value, right? Draw a card, make a dude.
I like creatures that draw cards.
I think the only thing that'd be better is if you didn't have to flip the 3/3. Oh my gosh, that card would just be so pushed.
Uh-huh. Go on.
I get it, balanced team. I understand.
I think that card is quite good as it is, but let's
How many would you
see.
play in a deck? Like, how many is too many?
Certainly 18 would be 7 too many. There you
I feel
go.
like,
That's my
man,
that's my
it's like
that's my
around
nonsensical
four
assessment.
is when I start thinking I have too many. I believe.
Okay, fine. Be like that. Let's see if he's just this is gonna. Okay, so he's still not setting in the intercessor, just for fear of it dying, maybe like before blocks, and that would really mess things up. I think he's just gonna peel back and say, "I'm just gonna attack with my flyers, with my one flyer." Question mark. Yeah, just that. Okay. So what's on top of the
Interesting.
deck as a famous
We have no idea.
as a famous podcast intro would say? What's on top of the deck?
Let's see.
Flip it. What was that?
Oh, vanquish the weak.
Oh, wow! And he didn't even know that was coming, right?
No.
That was just a blind flip. I don't know.
Yep.
That is
Because
pretty
I
good.
believe you left Eyes and Island on top. Eyes drew the island, and so we had
Okay.
no idea what that card would be.
It's not quite a lightning helix on top of the deck, but it'll do. It dealt the opponent 3 damage and killed something, so it's pretty good. Island
So how
off
does
the top
Jeremy live
here.
here?
Nah, there's no way. I mean, I guess he gets to look at the top 5 cards of his library. He does. He does. I believe. Okay, he sees a Gruff triplets. Is that even enough here?
No. He needs a way to deal with this 3/3, and
No.
he's gonna have to pay the ward. So that's 4 mana that he's already down with Vanquish, right?
So I do believe he has the invasion that's also a board wipe in his deck, if I recall. So that can be found off the invasion of Ixalan, but it was not found off the invasion of Ixalan, unfortunately. So he can put up a good fight here and draw another card, which he did. Look, like there was nothing wrong with what Jeremy did this game. He did Yorion stuff. He blinked stuff with Yorion and drew cards. He played removal spells that drew cards, but the card quality coming from Christopher was just really high. And that dragon was really the game changer. Going to get the
Yeah.
protection spell. That was always my favorite to do with that dragon. Go get something that protects it or something that gets it back. Funny little attack here with the 4/5 to try and
Get a food.
get a food. I mean, he could just easily block with the 0/1. I feel like, but
Yeah.
this is
I
fine
think
too.
it's the right move on Jeremy's part because I think the food might allow him to live because then he can block the ground, eat the food to stay alive against the fairy.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, this fairy's just he has feed the cauldron, but the fairy has ward. So looks like he's gonna make Christopher attack him before he gives up, but there's no way out of this one, unfortunately.
I like how Chris
Jeremy.
keeps the 0/1 back just on principle.
Yeah, I mean, why send it in? I mean, before he was not sending in the intercessor, but now that it's just come down to this, I think
Yeah.
he's like, okay, let's just kill him, please.
I think he's pretty confident this is locked away.
Seems to be. It's funny that Invasion of Algrotha Like I have it, and I've never even thought about putting it in my deck. Um, I had it. I had it also in Mom League, and I played it in the early weeks, and then just everything was better than it. But I mean, it's an okay card.
I mean, it's serviceable. It's just really expensive for what it does, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we literally have High Fate Negotiator, which does the same thing but leaves you a body behind. I'll take that.
yeah. I don't know. Like I opened it a few packs ago, and it was even in consideration for my deck. But I mean, it's okay. It depends how much removal you have, also.
Yeah, actually, I should probably run that back because Negotiator doesn't actually kill a creature; it just drains your opponent.
No,
So
no,
I
yeah,
guess
no.
it.
This one can kill a creature. It can also just.
Yeah,
All right. So looking at Jeremy's deck, it's mostly green black with with our usual splashes. We have white. We have a few white cards. We have one blue card. We have an Invasion of Alara, actually, the 5 color
oh, he's full on spice this week, huh?
battle. Yeah, he's got the Invasion of Fiora, which is the board wipe one. And he's even got a mythic battle as well, Invasion of Innistrad, which is a kill spell that can turn into like a zombie factory later on.
Innistrad. Is that the one that gives neck 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the backside, it makes zombies. It starts out, it gives you 2 zombies up front, and then you can exile creatures from opponents' graveyards to make more tutus.
I've
So
been beaten
again,
down by that card one too many times. I'm
green
really
black
surprised Chris isn't
base.
playing as aerialist.
No idea if his mana is good. He's got a 80 card deck, so
Yuri things, huh?
he just went for it. He said, and he just opened that on his 10th loss. So
Wow. It was meant to be.
he said, I got something here. I'm planning something.
What are we taking out? I thought he took out the Capenna, but he took something else out.
Yeah,
What
see,
does he want in
normally with
instead?
Yorion decks and limited, you basically never have a sideboard
Yeah, because you have
in
to
a
jam
normal
everything inside,
draft.
right?
It's just everything. Man, he's not playing his Phyrexian Gargantua with Yorion. Feels sad. I feel sad. I see a Phyrexian Gargantua and I see a Yorion. It's not in the deck. I'm on the verge of tears now. What's Christopher doing over there? Or did he submit?
No, not just yet. He's just messing around with a few of the cards, taking out Rat Out, putting in Shatter the Oath instead. I guess that matches up better with Urion. Trying to see if he wants to
Turns
put
out, yeah.
anything else inside.
Yeah, Rat Out to me is basically in these type of decks is basically a sideboard card at this point in League. It's not.
Yeah, I think the problem with Rat Out is it's designed for its own format. It's not
Yeah,
designed for mom.
when you come up against these mom decks, there's not as many things to pick off. I guess there's the wary thespian that most people are going to play, but yeah,
It's like very far and few between though.
I've been siding it in when my opponent's playing the black red decks of the world. I've been siding it in rather than main decking it. So it looks like Back for Seconds and Shatter the Oath are potentially on the table here for
I
Jeremy.
guess that's very on par because Jeremy is definitely back for seconds.
He's back for everything. He wants the glory here. He wants to stay alive with this Yorion deck and ride it to more victories.
Looks like we've submitted. I think
Okay.
the last consideration was Protocol Knight for 3 blind mice, but he decided to keep the Protocol Knight in.
Yeah, 3 blind mice is a very particular card. It's like you have to be able to follow it up.
Kind of like the Protocol Knight in his deck with how many battles he has. Sets up ways to flip him.
Okay. So Etched
It's small-minded
Familiar.
stuff, but it works.
Etched Familiar came out, which is that 3 mana 3/2 that lose 2, gain 2 when it dies.
The old famous 3-drop drain.
Yeah, that's a card I was running up until I think my last pack. So, because I'm sort of in this same realm as Jeremy and even Jordan's deck as like a green. Well, Jordan has he hasn't gone to mom, but for these mom decks that are green black, I'm sort of drawing parallels with a lot of the cards here. Etch Familiar is one that ended up getting cut. I mean, he is running an 80 card deck, so that gives you more room.
I'm trying to think, is our Etch familiar in this set Sweet Tooth Witch?
I think Edge Familiar is better. I would think because
I don't.
unless you're heavy woe with a bunch of food, you just rather just get the ability up front, and it
Well, I
drains.
just mean for its set though, like for its set, because we don't have an Etch Familiar this set, right? Like we
Yeah,
don't have a three
well,
mana black card that drains for two.
well, it's in the same design space,
Yeah, because like you have Etch Familiar, the vampire that does it. You just see it across so many sets, but
Oh
we don't
yeah, that
have it
was
this one.
the 3 mana vampire that did it.
Yeah,
I forget the
but
name, but
anyway,
I forget the name, but it was just a 3 mana 2/3 that had that ability.
Chris realizes that I'm casting for him, so he decides to play me onto the battlefield. The rest of the
Oh,
hand
look.
is Plains, a Swamp, your favorite card, Halo Forager, the Preening Champ, the Alabaster Host again,
Oh,
and the Cauldron.
it's certainly not my favorite card. On its face, it is simply a 1 out of 5. I mean, when it gets you a spell out of the graveyard, it's a 2. So, ooh,
Oh,
Preening
the Halo
Champion.
Forager.
Now that is a quality one. Yeah, Halo Forger is great. Yeah, so somehow I've opened 9 packs of Mom and I've not found a single Preening Champion or Ifara's, what is it called, Dispersal,
Yep, Dispersal.
or an Eyes of Gitaxias. So despite the fact that I'm full of Demir bombs, I can't play blue as a main color. So
That's the way the
Jeremy's
story goes sometimes.
so Jeremy's deciding what to do here. He has 4 mana at his disposal. Did not draw land for turn, but does have the Portent Tracker. So between Invasion of Innistrad, taken by Nightmares, uh, he has Traumatic Revelation, Progenitor Exarch, which he can't cast yet. It's a white card. He has a Wildwood Escort, which is the 5 mana 3/3 that gets a creature back or battle. And he has that Merciless Repurposing. So he's scrying 2 and he sees Brave the Wilds and Swamp. So now he has to decide if he keeps Brave the Wilds, then the rest of the scry doesn't matter because he shuffles his deck. Maybe he just says, I'll hit my 4th land naturally next turn and then Brave the Wilds after that, but he's just going to Brave the Wilds on top here.
That's fair. Get the land you want.
So what's going on in Christopher's hand? Well,
I mean, outside we saw earlier, he just drew a Skittering Surveyor for turn.
I like it.
So I believe we're either going to get a Feed the Cauldron or just finding lands. Um, I'm not against feeding the Cauldron on the Portent Tracker here, just to slow down this up the Beanstalk draw triggers. And it
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
Chris wants to
if
stop that too,
Bolt the
or at
Bird,
least slow
right?
it
Isn't that
down.
what they say?
Yeah, Bolt the Bird.
Or in this case, Boil the Satyr, I suppose,
Yes.
in the Cauldron.
I'm on board with it, especially when your opponent has up the Beanstalk and
Boil the Bird, perhaps. Yeah,
he has a Yorion on the side, right? You just don't want that value accruing there. He
yeah,
has
makes
Alabaster
sense.
Host, maybe to take something away.
I mean,
Halo Forge, rebuy removal.
if he did not have a 4th land, I would rather like if I didn't have that 4th land in hand or 5th as we see now, like if I needed Skittering Surveyor to hit my land for the turn, I think I would do it. But with the extra lands in hand, Skittering Surveyor was not a must play, and Jeremy gets a choice of 2 pretty nice ones here that he can discard. I think
You
Halo
gotta bet
Forger
he's
should
going for
go
the
a little
Forger,
bit.
right?
Yeah, because that's just value. He does have
Yeah.
multiple removals in hand for the Intercessor. Also has no creatures right now, so.
You have to see. I mean, right now, Chris's hand isn't looking the greatest. Outside, he has on board, he drew an island for turn and just found another swamp with the Surveyor. But outside of the Alabaster Host, there's really nothing else going on in this hand.
Yeah, so Jeremy's got a nice one here now with this Phyrexian Cat Cleric. And he gets to draw a card because it's he got the mana value up to 5 there. So nice little, turn your 1-drop into a card draw spell too. Yeah, why not? So he's getting some board
So
presence here. I think he's just gonna nab the cat so he can get in for a couple more damage. And he's something at 9 here. With I mean, he could flip his 3/3s. He can remove something. He can't do multiple things, which is unfortunate because his hand is rather expensive.
what's the removal in hand again?
He has an Invasion of Innistrad and Merciless Repurposing. Um,
Oh.
so he could cast the Invasion of Innistrad and flip the Incubator. He could also play Overgrown Pest and transform an Incubator. If he plays Merciless Repurposing, that's all he can do. So
Yeah, I gotta think the play is just to get rid of the 3/4 here.
So he gets back the 1/2 and doesn't do anything else for now, but um, unless Chris draws something else, his only
Chris says
attack is
Deadly
to 2
Derision,
2.
and interestingly enough, he did just draw the Celebrant, so he can always go for like a cheeky little play of swinging the Preening Champ, rebouncing it back to Scribe it, remake another 1/1.
Okay, not too bad here.
That'll lock him off of Deadly Derision for the turn, though, if he decides to play both.
I don't think he really cares about Deadly Derision right now. He'd just rather build up his board.
I think it'd be nice to have, right?
Well, I mean, you could do it next turn, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing so threatening here.
Oh, we have an Invasion of Tolvada in hand.
Nice.
Or on top of the deck.
That brings back his intercessor.
Yeah. So replay the preening, flip the incubation. I guess we're gonna flip the other one over.
Yeah, so
Trying to.
Preening Champion just it shows us that not all 3 mana 2 power common blue flyers are made equal because Mocking Sprite doesn't see too much play in
Is that
WoW.
the is that the 2/1 or 3/1
Yeah,
that
it's the two
makes
one for
instance and
3.
sorcery cheaper?
Yeah, I mean, I it does the
I
job in its archetype, but there's a lot of X1 hate, and
Yeah, I think that's the problem, right?
well, Preening Champion I just think is such an anomaly as far as what we usually get in that slot. Like that card's just so far and above what we usually see at common. It makes anything else look embarrassingly poor, even when they're not.
Yeah, I think the
Jeremy's,
greatness of it is 2/2 flyer on 3. But I mean, inside of the set itself, you have Convoke, and it makes 2 bodies towards that goal.
yeah, he says, "Let me just get rid of this bird here that already made 2 tokens." But he draws a card off it, so I can't say I dislike that.
So he's got Tolvada. He's gonna play it right away. Is the question?
I mean, he's got to play it. It just takes that 3/3 off the board completely. Though
Yeah.
of note, Jeremy can wake up one of his 3/3s with the cat.
Oh, with the tap ability.
Yeah,
I mean, he does give him one attack with his own 3/2, though.
all right, so Invasion of Tolvada. It's been an invasion, a battle heavy match so far.
A mom.
I mean, I'm only
Very
playing.
schematic, right?
I'm only playing one battle, so I don't know. I haven't opened too many of the great ones.
I mean, these players both have great battles back and forth,
Yeah,
as we're seeing.
absolutely. Yeah,
And we're just going to send everything forward. So does he attempt to just eat up a 1/1 or just
I don't
take
think
3 and block
I
the
don't
3/2?
think you could take you can take 5 here.
Yeah, I don't think he want to.
All right, so now time to think here for Jeremy. He certainly has a few options, so I'm sure he's going to weigh them all before acting. He's got a Wildwood Escort here, Overgrown Pest, back for seconds, and the Cruel Somnophage. Looks like he very quickly decided on the Escort. That's going to get back a
Escort, buy
creature or
back a
battle.
card. He could just get back the Portent if he wanted to. Oh, straight for the Marauder.
So you could play Cruel Somnophage, which could have been a 4/4, but is a 3/3. Since he removed a creature from the graveyard.
Let's see here. Deadly Derision's all we have in hand. What's the draw for the turn? Does this change anything for us?
Let's see.
The Blight Reaper Thallid. Doesn't really change too much, though.
It's a 2/2 for 2, and you can flip it to a 3/3 and make some tokens as well.
And Jeremy's almost to the point where if he gets another land, he can buy the Urion and cast it.
It's certainly getting there. Yeah, and good thing about Yorion is he can actually he can reset his battle to kill something else.
Huh? Okay, I thought he was about to kill the escort for a second.
No, kills the Cruel Somnophage. Question is, does he attack?
It seems he's going in. He says, "I want to get my 2 damage in."
Says it is time to attack. I think he has to chump block with the cat on the 3/4, and then eat the and then like wake up his token before the cat dies.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go to
Yeah,
1.
yeah, and he does. Yeah, so this is the safest play, I think. I mean, getting the 3/4 off the board would be nice, but here he's drawn Tangled Skyline, so that's 5 life and a 5/5.
I mean, I think that play is absolutely phenomenal right now. You get 5 life going to 7. You get another blocker against your opponent's, otherwise pretty lackluster board. And then with a land, you can Urion and do it all over again.
Tap
Buy something back with
five.
the escort, draw a card, regain another 5, re-incubate. I mean, in fact, you can even blink your battle also, correct?
Yes.
We might see Jeremy actually turn the corner pretty hard here.
Yeah, this is a fun one here. So I mean, I knew a bit of what to expect from Jeremy's deck. No idea what Christopher G was doing. Um, had not seen his deck at all this league. So, but I like what I see. So
It's 5 life. It's definitely pretty swingy right now.
I mean, he tapped 5 mana and gained life. I mean, that is the beginning of greatness. I can tell you. And
Is that
five
1 out of
life.
5?
That's a 2 out of 5, sir. It's 5 mana.
Fair.
Yeah.
5 mana, gains life. I guess the only thing that's missing is creature and flying.
Well, it's not a 2/2. It certainly didn't draw a card. So yeah, so he's just gonna pass turn. Gonna turn up his 5/5 here rather than do
So he
anything
drew
else.
Shatter the Oath for turn, but this really isn't going to change too much on this board state.
Yeah, the Shard of the Oath can't hit the 5/5 unless he waits till next turn,
Yeah.
which
It's
he might
interesting that
do.
it hits creatures and artifacts, but not artifacts, creatures and enchantments, but not artifacts.
Yeah, Jeremy's not really in a position to attack. So once the 5/5 is flipped, he could just wait till next turn because he knows Jeremy's flipping the 5/5, like
Yeah.
more or less, unless he has a removal. But I think flipping the 5/5 is better than removing any of these creatures. So let's see what he decides to do with his Shatter the Oath.
I mean, Chris is looking at killing this escort right now, trying to figure what he wants to give a wicked roll to. So I believe we're moving forward with the kill a creature.
All right. I mean, you draw your removal spell. Your opponent's at 7. I don't blame him for wanting to kill a creature. I'm just wondering if there's a world where you keep it for that 5/5.
I think Chris is not playing his color identity. I think he has a hint of Rakdos inside of him right now.
Yeah, well, it happens to all of us. I just posted a mono red deck yesterday that I drafted.
It's always a thing of beauty to see Rakdos back in action.
So yeah, now I can turn this to a 4/4, making life a little more difficult, but still can't attack past this 5/5. So
Yeah, as of next turn, I mean, the board doesn't get much better for you either.
yeah, okay.
He's going to send it forward.
So this is flip the incubator. You block the 4/4. He takes 1 from the wicked. Block a 1/1, I guess, and take 5 total. Yeah. So he's going to take a total of 5 here. Go to 2, which is a precarious place to be. But the next turn he can. He actually can't cast the Yorion until he has another white or blue source.
Oh. Oh.
And he's drawn a swamp here, which is of no help at all.
Uh-oh.
Um, so what he can do is he can use his overgrown pest to maybe go looking for that land that he needs because he's playing green black. So Yorion is like a splash. Yeah, and he just sees more green and black sources here.
Hmm.
So So we're
It's kind of
thinking.
getting spicy here. Can Chris draw something off the top?
So we're thinking Yorion's coming down in a turn or two. It's resetting his card draw. It's resetting his life gain. It's actually not doing any of that. Back for seconds now. He's gonna bargain it. He's gonna get back the Cruel Somniphage into play. He's actually sacking the Tangled Skyline here. He's given up
Interesting.
on the dream of resetting that. So he gets a 5/5 into play and an Exarch back into his hand to make more tokens.
I don't know if I like giving up the the ability to gain 5. Luckily for him, Chris just drew an island for turn, so
Okay. Now he's drawn Invasion of Ixalan, which can go again looking for potentially that land he's looking for. Or he could also just cast a very, very powered up Exarch for many, many tokens. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 10 mana. So he could do X as 4. Can also just cast this Gloom Fang. And he can start attacking. Absolutely can start attacking here. See what he decides to do with this turn now that he has a bunch of 5/5s. He says, I'll try and go for the battle.
can't see Chris wanting to block anything here. He does go and look at the battle first, though. Do I want to trade? Like, do I want to just jump block here? How bad's the battle?
It's pretty bad for him.
Yeah.
It makes 2 zombies up front, and then I believe you pay 3 mana to make more zombies. Exile a creature card from graveyard. Something to that effect. It's been a while since I played with that card.
Interesting. He's going to go for
Yeah,
a trade instead of a chump?
I mean, he's losing his whole board here.
Yeah, I don't know
Jeremy's
about
just
this.
gonna. I mean, maybe he has a way to deal 2 damage. That's. Maybe he has a high fate
I would think
negotiator.
you I would think you want to keep as many creatures around then, right? To live
Does
that
he?
long?
He has a. Does he have a high fate negotiator? He must, right?
I was not sure if I saw that in the board.
I'm not sure why he. I guess he wanted to play a second land. That makes sense.
He did just draw Grim Grin, but that doesn't really get any like what we want accomplished here. This is also
Uh,
another reason why I don't like that trade, though.
yeah. So the Grimgrin can untap itself. So it's still. We're still looking at a bit of a slog for Jerry before he can completely take over. Now he's got a lot of things he's looking at. Crystal Grotto, Scarecrow Guide, another Up the Beanstalk.
I guess the Scarecrow guy would allow him to play the Urion if he's so pleased.
Um, yeah, I mean, without the Tangled Skyline, it's a lot sadder, but still good.
Well, this pretty much gives him free attacks this turn, though, right? You can swing pretty much whatever you want,
Well, the Grim Grin can
reset
untap,
everything.
right?
Does he get the +1 though?
I have not played with that card. I don't think I've
Yeah, same.
actually. I don't think I've ever actually cast it. Um,
Same.
I know that when it attacks, it destroys a creature, and you have to sack something to untap it. I'm not sure when you get the counter, whether it's when it untaps or when it attacks, but
Guess Jeremy's gonna keep mucking up the board here.
yeah, this is getting this is spiraling here for Christopher. He does have some draws that we know are good, but it's a lot to handle right now. It actually gets a counter in both cases.
Really? So
Yeah,
when it untaps and then when it attacks,
yeah. So it this guy just feeds on its own creatures, feeds on opponents' creatures. It is just it is a hungering zombie.
it's worth a note. If Chris ran a Sweet Tooth Witch, he would have another out in this situation.
Sure, I get it.
I just really love that card. I don't know how many games I've watched that card steal. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I like. I sort of ended up cutting it quite a while back, but I don't have a lot of food, so
I mean, even the one food it makes itself, right?
I mean, yes, it feeds into itself once. Yeah, so he's gonna go for the he's gonna go for the battle here. I mean, um, surely, I mean, he just moused over Grin Grin, so if he wasn't exactly sure how it works, he knows now. But he says, "I'll give up one creature to do this."
I mean, I think this is fair. You give up one creature to get two right away, right? And then you get to keep pumping out more.
Yeah. So of note, every time he uses the enchantment, the somnophage will get smaller. So that might matter. But he's just gonna draw more cards here. Up the beanstalk. What a card. What a card.
All right, Chris, what you got on top?
I mean,
What's
up
on
the
top of the deck?
beanstalk. I mean, up the beanstalk got in. Had much exposure at the Pro Tour even, or the was it the World Championship, whatever, whichever one it was.
So he drew a Vanquish for turn. I don't really think that's going to get much done here.
It's not killing anything you really want to kill.
No.
So you can attack with the Grimgrin and kill off the Somnophage. And then I guess he can blow out a double block. But if Jeremy just blocks with everything, then
I think he's giving it some thought here. He's mousing over his Vanquish.
yeah. So if Jeremy just puts two creatures in front, he gets blown out. But if he just throws everything, um, as a wily veteran, I'm thinking Jeremy's gonna throw multiple bodies in front here.
Sure, you can just get away with just throwing a 2 to it, right?
I suppose. I think I want it off the board if I'm him, but because it's
Yeah,
gonna
like
keep.
there's no green mana left open, so you're not worried about like, a trample roll or anything like that.
We got a Chrome Host Seed Shark now.
Oh.
Um, Jeremy still doesn't have a second white or a blue, but he has a Crystal Grotto and a Portent Tracker and a Brave the Wilds all in hand, so that that can be done. I think it's time to. For me, I think it's Yorion time here. Brave the Wilds.
Is it Yuri on time?
I think so because you get to kill the Grimgrin by by resetting your battle, your Innistrad
Oh,
battle.
yeah, I think it's more than worth it.
Oh no, don't. Yeah. So he can tap. He can cast the Yorion. Nothing else in his hand to blink. So he's gonna draw a card. He's gonna put two counters on something with the Mauler. He's gonna draw a card with the Pest. He's going to not get a creature back with the Escort.
No.
He's gonna draw a card with the Pest. Draw a card with the Invasion of Ixalan. Draw a card with the Beanstalk. Um, put two counters and kill the Grimgrin. Okay, I've seen worse. I've seen worse Yorions.
I mean, I think at this point, Jeremy is just feeling pretty comfortable, right? Like,
Uh,
you're still a little uncomfortable at 2 mana or 2 life, but you feel like you can start turning this game around pretty well,
yeah,
right?
I mean, High Fate Negotiator is a card I think anybody who's playing black is playing in their deck. Like, I don't think any people that are playing black are leaving it on the sideline. So there's always that to fear. I mean, Hopeless Nightmare less is another card that can do that, but less
Yeah, I
scared of
believe he
that.
had it in his sideboard, unless he had multiple, and he had one out, one in.
Okay, look at all these triggers. It's a lot. So drawing cards here. How about drawing some more cards? How about an Invasion of Fiora? That's the board wipe one. Maybe he doesn't want to show him that. Yeah, doesn't want to show him. And he just gets to draw another card from the Beanstalk. So he's verging on having to discard a hand size. But I I fear there's not too much that Christopher can do. I mean, he could draw his make X 2/2s, but Is that even going to be enough here?
I mean, we get into the Fate Court. How about that for now?
That's a Cloud
Cloud
Blazer.
Blazer at home.
Well, draw card, 5 mana, flying. You
Sadly, none of it's all that good. It's just a candy trail, an island, and a rat out. So I guess we're
but
just gonna go scry and see what we can find on top.
but you drew three.
Okay,
That's so good.
okay. Hold on. There might be hope here. So he has a hoarding broodlord that he's gonna keep on top.
Yeah, being at 22 life, he's not going to die instantly. And Jeremy has at least shown some desire to attack battles, at least the Innistrad one.
You want to see what Jeremy does here, like how much pressure he puts on Chris. Because if Chris can keep all of his creatures, right, he'll have effectively 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana to help cast his Broodlord, and then also whatever he digs from the deck.
It's got to be
If it's
protection for the
any way to deal
Broodlord.
2 damage.
Oh, that could be it too, right? Something not
Yeah.
just okay. Looks like we're gonna go on a fetch quest here, which will make a 7/7 incubator and draw a card and get something into play here. Perhaps a gruff
Is that a
triplets.
Gruff?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Mr. Gruff McScruff himself?
Sure is. Okay. This is some heavy magic we're seeing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually an 8/8 incubator because of the kami that puts an extra counter on things.
It's like Jeremy's playing some reanimator, blink, value, good stuff deck.
Sounds like you could just replace all that and just say it's a Yorion deck.
Oh.
Right?
Is he only gonna...
Isn't that what? Doesn't Yorion just do all of that in one package? So
Yeah, pretty much. So Chris, you don't block here, right? You eat your candy trail.
It's one stop shopping.
Yeah. This is definitely in Chris's advantage. I mean, you gotta love when your opponent's not overcommitting to the attack that much.
Yeah, I mean, he could have attacked with the Yorion, I think, and felt pretty okay about it. But
I guess he felt pretty fine regardless. Because, like, at 9, right? Like, if you couldn't kill him, might as well not overcommit. And I understand it.
he still doesn't have a way to gain life here. Oh, he's drawn a Dismal Backwater. But he
Uh,
played his land, I believe. That would have actually, funnily, got him out of range of something that dealt exactly two.
oh, perfect. Perfect. All right. So he's going to rat out to make a rat to get more gas for the Convoke. Is he going to flip his incubation also? Yep. I love this.
Okay.
All right, Chris, do you have the win in the deck? Let's find out.
I mean, if he has the high fae, that'll do it, right?
So we're going to Convoke towards the Broodlord.
I mean, Jeremy put in so much work here to turn this around, but
Ooh.
he never could. He never could quite get the board state to start attacking early enough. I mean, this was basically the first turn where he actually got in a reasonable attack. I mean, he did attack his battle a couple times, um, which maybe might not have been absolutely necessary, but let's see
All right,
if
what's in the deck?
I mean it's got to be
Ooh,
something.
Invasion of All Growth.
That'll do it. Yeah, that was the one we were talking about before. So
High
yeah,
Fae at home.
just a little too much damage taken in that early game here. Jeremy did quite an impressive job of turning it around, but not.
This was back to earlier, though. If he kept the Tangled Skyline,
I think so.
he would
Yeah.
definitely still be alive.
I would have done everything in my power to keep that, even if I couldn't cast Euron right away. That game
Yeah.
5 would have been key, absolutely key. But does look like Jeremy's going to meet his end here, thanks to the Invasion of Algrotha and the dragon to go get it. So, but quite a show here for our final match of the evening.
Truly a complete banger of a game from both players. Like, Jeremy really put on a show the second game, just showing off just the power of Urion.
Yeah, this will be on the list of memorable matches, at least from this league. Yeah, just a very entertaining show here. Jeremy doing all the things that he wanted to do except gaining life, and he's taken down here. But in a great display of power, he's taken down and has been eliminated here by Christopher G. So congratulations to him, and we'll be seeing everybody for the next round of feature matches. Hopefully we'll get some week 6 feature matches coming up. But that'll be it for tonight.